In this video, I'm going to show you what I did to the white Jeep. Basically, I took the old axle from the blue Jeep, the Dana 30, which this also had a Dana 30 in it, but the blue Jeep's axle was in better shape, and I tore it down. I rebuilt the carrier on it, new bearings, seals, and made sure that it was the gear meshing was proper, shimmed it. And then I put a truss on it, which is Ruffstuff's new low profile Dana 30, Dana 44 truss. It's worked out really well. And put heavy duty lower control arm brackets on it. And then I also changed how the track bar was set up. And I used a JK style mount over the axle track bar bracket that I adapted into the truss and the Dana 30, and everything ended up working out pretty good. I also will show me installing a little front like steering stiffener plate that goes on the frame rails on the front of the XJ, and I welded that on and installed a solid steel spacer on the inside. I also installed the front 3-link that was originally on the blue Jeep on the white Jeep, so I had to pull that off in the video and put it on this thing, which was the Iron Rock Off-Road 3-link. The only thing that I didn't do in this video was I was planning on making a front bumper for this thing, which I haven't got to, but that'll be a different video because this video was getting too long and I already sped up most of my footage 200 times. So all my time lapses are pretty fast to condense the length of this video. I'd also like some feedback on the videos to see if people like seeing the time lapses or they more like seeing the end product and cut through those things faster. So if you could leave some feedback in the comments, that'd be awesome. I hope you guys enjoy it. So I'll show you guys what I got figured out here with this track bar bracket. It's, I think, gonna work pretty good. I don't know if I'll use the top hole or the bottom hole. I'll have to figure that out once I put it in, but it's looking pretty good. I'll show you right here. So basically, this track bar bracket is for JK. I forget whose it is. Maybe it's TMR's bracket. Can't remember. But I'm basically going to use the top part. But I got all this cut off in here. And this bracket is basically going to sit up in there like that. And I'll be able to get in there, weld that, kind of weld in there on that bit, and then weld down in there. So I'll get a bunch of support for the coil bucket since I cut basically all the old support out. So it should be plenty strong. I think I'm gonna weld, I might weld this right here and then maybe in here a little bit just for this sway bar bracket support. But yeah, I think I'll get that tacked up, and then the brace should have plenty of room to clear to make it in there. So hopefully it'll turn out good. Okay, I got to show off my welding cart here. It's just about my style. I usually don't use my MIG welder that much in my plasma cutter, so no need to have a fancy cart. So, I mean, that's just super fancy, right? Just plasma a hole right through it. Bottle sits nice. So I just got my shipment from Ruffstuff of the parts for this axle, and I'm just missing one little piece to the truss, so I called them and they're gonna send it with me, because I also thought I ordered a second rod end for the track bar, but somehow I only ordered one. So I already needed to order that, so they'll just throw in the little piece, but I'll show you the parts right here. So here are the parts for their new low profile truss, basically. And then I got some 1.5" quarter wall DOM. And then here's one rod end, so I should be getting the other rod end pretty soon. And then the only one little piece there missing, didn't show up, was the other part that indexes into the basically driver side of this truss that goes over here, I'm assuming. It's basically in there somewhere. So they're sending that. But I got the track bar bracket mounted on there, so I'll probably get this thing kind of cleaned up so I have a clean spot to start getting things put into place, because I always find myself just messing around trying to lay out the parts on the axle, and I end up putting a bunch of time into it and then just trying to see how it all fits, and then next thing I know, I have to pull it all off and clean it all off because I didn't prep it before. So I gotta remember to prep it before I even trying to lay anything out. So hopefully that'll save me some time. So I'll do that, get this thing prepped up and kind of mock it up. And I probably won't throw, so it came with this piece right here, which goes with this piece. It came with this piece right here, which is part of that truss, which is for the 4th link, which I will only be running the 3-link on the white Jeep. So I really don't need this, but I mean, I'll have to see how it all comes together. I probably won't put it on there since it's so easy to put on later if I wanted to, but I'm pretty sure this is just the kit for that 4th link that goes on top of the truss. So it's a little piece of DOM and kind of indexes in itself, and then it comes with a bushing too. So pretty simple, but I probably won't put it on because don't need it. Then I don't have to worry about it hitting anything too. So yeah, I'll get this thing cleaned up and start mocking this stuff up and get it tacked up. So while I'm here, I wanted to kind of show you guys what I'm using on this thing, because I didn't really learn about these discs till like that recently. I mean, I saw them, but I didn't really know what to use them for. So this is like the black looking abrasive disc. You can get them at Harbor Freight. They don't last as long, but this one I just got at, I don't know, welding supply store. They're awesome. So on mill scale, these things are amazing. They just eat through it. They do kind of get filled up with gunk, but you can kind of burn through it. Like some discs are better about it, but some really load up easily. This one's pretty good. But the best thing about them is they don't flat spot. So like cleaning this thing up, they just eat through all that stuff. Like if it was a flap disc or a sanding disc, you know, it'd leave flat spots on it, but it just cleans the surface. It takes off such a minimal amount of metal. It's pretty cool. Actually, I'll flip this thing around too to show the top. They do kind of make a mess, so they like to throw stuff at you. So you kind of want to make sure you wear a full face shield, because they'll just throw so much of that fiber at you, the fiber abrasive. Here's the top, front. See, there's no flat spots like a flap disc leaves. I mean, there's flat spots from me kind of grinding on stuff on this back side when I was cutting things off, but I mean, yeah, just keeps it nice, super nice. So I was actually messing around on the cast to see kind of what it did, and It cleans it up nice too. I mean, it'll probably need wire wheel to get the stuff out of it, but I always wire wheel and acetone and everything to get all the stuff out of all the basically holes. So yeah, just random tip. So I'm gonna probably have to drill and top this hole for the vent, because once this thing's on here, we have a hole there, and just don't know if I'll get too lined up, but it'll just be easier if then I can screw in a 1/4 inch MPT pipe, little piece that sticks out here, and then attach the vent to that and go wherever I want to later. I think it's going to be a lot easier. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll probably have to cut some more out of this hole to be able to make it work. But I have the tap here, so I'll drill it out and get it tapped. I just got the white Jeep pulled in, it's washed off, and ready to start getting work done. So I got the Jeep all cleaned off on the front. It always just seems easier just to do a quick little clean so dirt isn't falling in your face. So the next step is, I got these off eBay. It says BIM on them, or yeah, BIM, I don't know what it stands for, but it's like $100 on eBay for these support plates, because I don't really want to go through this whole thing and do unibody stiffeners. So I'm going to try doing this on the front because I think I'll get enough support on the track bar, especially since this is always going to have a 31-inch tire on it. Nothing bigger, so I think I can get away with it. But these plates basically go on both sides, and this one will go like this, right in here. Set it in place. Once the bolts are pulled out, like this. So I'm going to get those things welded in there. The other one goes on that side. So these front 3 holes here, 1, 2, 3, are bumper tie-ins. And then these back 3 holes, 1, 2, 3, are the steering box mount holes to help tie it in. But then there's a 4th hole that you can grab for the steering box to tie it in. And it comes with an extra bolt. And then the other problem is the unibody's so thin there that the frame, well, the unibody flexes when you're turning the steering box on the inside. So if you have it really strong on the outside of the unibody, it's still that steering box kind of flexes the thin sheet metal on the inside. So that's where this comes into place, which is the spacer that's solid that helps distribute that load across that unibody, and it doesn't flex in those little spots. So that goes on these bolt holes right here, just like that. If they'll line up, there we go, just like that, and then ties into this back one, and then that thing's bolted together, sandwiched, and gives you a lot better steering feel. Well, hopefully, because this thing drove just nothing like I wanted it to drive. So with the new front axle build, the 3-link, all these supports, custom straight over the axle, track bar, hopefully all this stuff will be fixed. So I'm going to get going on this and get this stuff prepped, both sides, to be welded. And then I'll also have a good spot, a thicker piece on the front, to tie in the bumper that I'll eventually make. So I just started TIG welding this. I tacked it up and just did one little bead in here, and I forgot how terrible it is. It absolutely sucks. So at first I was convinced I wanted to TIG weld it, but it just reminds me of the whole blue Jeep and how terrible it was. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to make weld it back out. I'll just make weld it because you just can't clean the inside of the frame. There's just all kinds of dirt and grime inside there that it just pulls from the backside right in the puddle, and it's not a fun experience. So the next thing I got to do here is pull the 3-link off the blue XJ. So as I said in my other video, this is just not the type of thing that I want on this Jeep, because this is going to be a whole different caliper build, and I'm going to build a custom 4-link. It's got straight links that I'll clearance the body wherever I have to, because it's going to have some major travel in the front, and I just don't like the thought of having only 3 links with how much this thing is going to go through. So yeah, so that's why this is going over there. This was just my original thought for this thing, which I didn't really know what I was doing and didn't know how this was going to end up turning out. So I'll get this pulled off and then we'll put it on the white Jeep. Hey guys, so I got this thing done. I thought I'd take a final video of kind of how it went back together. So I ended up putting the track bar that I made up to the top hole of the bracket, which it just lined up better and everything. So I changed that and I extended a little bit to center the axle. I put on the steering box brace back on because I actually drove it after I was done without the steering box brakes, and it makes a huge difference. The responsiveness just in those short wheel movements is not very responsive. So I did that, and I actually in the video it showed me drilling the axle vent, and I still need to get a longer stub to stick in there to get it out. Right now I have just like an air gun fitting in there, just kind of screwed in. The hose probably already came off. But I also have the 3-link on. Basically everything's taken care of right now, and it drives awesome. It drives really, really well. I think the only thing that is hurting it now are these end links on the, oh yeah, I had that up. The end links on the track bar, on the sway bar, they're rubber on these end links. And I think if it had solid, like a Heim joint on them, that it would get rid of all the little bit of delay on the responsiveness. But you barely turn the wheel on this thing and it responds. So that's, I don't know, maybe something I'll do here in the future, because this thing drives a lot on the road. And the best driving for the road is how I want it set up. So right now it's it's pretty good. So the other thing I wanted to show was how the brace is installed. This was an awesome brace for a really cheap price. I think it was $110 or $20 that came with this little brace plate that all the holes lined up perfect for the steering box. This extra bolt to grab another hole. Let's see, and then all the bumper bolts right here. And then it came with a steel spacer that was TIG welded. Just the little bushings were TIG welded on the spacer, so that's on the inside. And that, I think, really helped with the flex of the steering box in this. So this is welded on there. It says it's a BIM brand. Don't know what that is, but I just did a quick paint over it and just whatever is functionally good. This Jeep's just a functioning machine. Nothing about looks is meant for this Jeep. But that went really good, so I highly advise that. Super easy to install. Just kind of welded them in here and there, welded the front side, and it was good to go. So I'm going to show this. So this is where I'm going to try to zoom up. This is where I have that air fitting in there just right now. I had a little hose attached with the zip tie just for my trial run, but it already fell off, obviously. But I had to drill that hole out. Well, I kind of cut it out a lot more with a grinder so that when I drilled and tapped the hole to, I think 1/4 inch MPT, that something could actually fit in there. So make sure if you tap that hole, which I highly advise doing, it was super easy, you cut that hole big enough to clearance it all. So here's how the Iron Rock Off-Road 3-link installed. Super easy, super simple. Bolts basically right in. The only thing you have to maybe drill, but I didn't even have to drill. It was already at the right diameter. I just had to tap these holes for the front bolts, and then these bolts went right back into the original cross members bolt holes. So this thing was super easy to install. The only thing was there's some different type of trans mount for, I don't know, autos versus manuals. I can't remember what I did, but I made this one work, so it was no problem. And one of the last things was these shocks are limiting my down travel a lot. Like I probably get 4 to 6 inches more down travel without these shocks. So maybe in the future I'll get some shocks that are actually the right length, but for now it'll work. So So guys, right here, I'm actually hanging on the shocks right now. That's as much down travel this side will let it have with these shock lengths on it. So, I mean, it's all right. For what we do, this thing will never need more flex than this, but you can tell how much it's flexing just from that end link. I have the other side attached. This side's not attached, but it's definitely being restricted by this shock. So maybe one day I'll get some longer shots, some nicer shots. I'd like to get just a internal bypass shock would be nice, but that's kind of overkill for this thing. But that just kind of shows you an example right there how it does. So in one of my next videos, I'm going to be building a front bumper for this thing. Just a tube bumper, 1 3/4 DOM 120 wall. It'll be my second tube project, so if you want to take a look at that, go check it out whenever I post it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Till next time.